Breaking news from the situation in Congo and Rwanda. Rwandan M23 have entered Bukavu and seized airports. Now, in this report from Reuters, it says in the summary, M23 seize Kivu airport as they head south. Residents in northern Bukavu says rebels entered without a fight. President warns of wider war risk at Munich Security Conference. Rwandan-backed M23 entered Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo's second-largest city, Bukavu, on Friday. A rebel leader told Reuters, as residents reported seeing the militias in the streets of Northern District. Earlier on Friday, the Congolese army confirmed that the M23 fighters had taken control of one of the major airports in eastern Congo. Now, here's the thing. The Congolese people have been neglected by the government of Congo, especially the Congolese people in the rural areas, such as the south, east, and further north. Now, this fight is predominantly taking place on the border between Rwanda and Congo. This is directly on Lake Kivu. It's a major lake. Now, it was recently reported last week that Rwanda took Goma. That is a major city within eastern Congo, major city, and they also have Goma International Airport. So they took the entire city, and you can see it's a major city with various institutions. Now, I knew it wasn't too long away from Rwanda taking Bukavu. It is fairly obvious because it borders. It is too close to Rwanda for them not to take this city. And people are starting to see this conflict very differently. People usually criticize Rwanda, but now people are beginning to see this war from a different perspective. People are beginning to say that at this point, they've lost faith in the government of Congo to do anything, to keep on fighting this war against Rwanda. Because after Rwanda took Goma, it was obvious that they would take Bukavu. The Congolese government did nothing to aid this or to halt this. And people are beginning to say, well, it's better off for the people of Congo if they're ruled by the people of Rwanda, because Rwanda is doing a very good job for their country. Rwanda is not just advancing very quickly in educational purposes, they're advancing very quickly in living standards. So would the Rwandan people be able to better protect and rule the Congolese people? That is the conversation that is happening now. But you can also see Congo has major cities on border with Uganda. That is Butembo, and that is at Lake Edwards. There's Lake Albert, and there's other major cities closer to that border as well. And as you go up further, there's Beni, there's Benia, and if you continue going up, you'll get to sort of like the northeast of Congo, and you then start to get closer to South Sudan. That's closer to Juba. But this is Rwanda. This is the capital of Rwanda, Kigali. This is the border of Rwanda. It was fairly obvious that they would take these major cities. And there are many other land in the surrounding area that they will presumably take as well. But instead of the Congo government fighting this war as they should, fighting Rwanda as they should, instead of them fighting back, they're complaining. How are they complaining? DR Congo right to F1 urgent suspension of Rwanda race talk. Is that how you win a war? Is that how you fight a war? You complain to Formula One that Rwanda, that they shouldn't partner with Rwanda for a Formula One race? It does not stop there. Congo is also complaining to NBA to drop sponsorship deals with Rwanda. But how is this going to help the war for Congo? How will this aid them to win this war? It will not. And they know it. They were forewarned that Rwanda would take Bukavu. They did nothing, as they always neglect, especially the eastern part of Congo. And it's like I said, people are beginning to say that, well, the Congolese people would be better off being governed by the Rwandan government, because the Rwandan government has always done a great thing for their people. But in a time like this, 2025, can we really be surprised that African leaders are fighting over land? We shouldn't be surprised. The African borders were carved up at the Berlin Conference by only Europeans, and this was a few hundred years ago. These borders were never dictated by Africans, especially the Africans that are living there today or in the past. So who should decide where the border begins and where it ends? Should it be Congo or should it be Rwanda? Rwanda is not waiting for permission. They're saying that is their land and they're taking it, and they will govern it better than Congo. And at this point, just seeing the mountain evidence of how Congo continues to neglect their territory. Well, it's concerning. And it's not due to a lack of modern aviation. Congo has the funds, they have the means to fund and to protect their lands, but they're neglecting it. Now, this is Kinshasa, the capital of Congo. It's basically Western Congo. And there's a vastness of land between Kinshasa and Eastern Congo. But I find it very strange that instead of Congo fighting against Rwanda, they rather complain to companies outside of Africa and complain to governments outside of Africa. That's not going to help you win a war. That's not how you protect your people. What's more important, canceling the Rwandan F1 race or fighting against Rwanda for Congo? What's more important? So honestly, this is what people are saying. People are saying that, well, this man, it's better if he rules over Congo because he's a great leadership. He's led Rwanda to many successes. And people are starting to see this from the perspective of the Rwandan. They're starting to see this from the perspective of Kagame. People are starting to see this from the perspective of current Africans. Who should decide where our borders begin and where they end? Shouldn't it be African? This is African lands, these are African people, and they will decide amongst themselves. Rwandans are not going into Goma and killing civilians. Rwandans are not going into Bukavu and killing civilians. They took over the city without a fight. But if there is a fight, they will fight it. They're there to take African land that rightfully belongs to African. And they're there to govern people better than Congo is currently governing its own people. Congo is not doing a good job. Considering how rich and vast this country is, it's not doing a good job. And the Rwandans believe they can do a better job. It is not like Rwanda is taking over land that was never historically theirs. And it's not like Rwandans are foreigners to Africa. No. Rwandans are Africans. And they will decide which part of Africa belongs to them. And the last government who should be complaining is the South African government. The South African government should focus on bettering South Africans for Africans. Instead of getting involved in a fight, they should focus on bettering their own country. They should focus on securing their own country, such as Cape Town. The Western Cape region is trying to get independence. They're trying to get independence for the Western Cape region, full independence. They're trying to get full independence. And these people are not Africans. There are Dutch, there are British that have been there for hundreds of years, and they're trying to get full independence. The South African government, they should focus on that problem instead of looking at Congo and Rwanda. They have bigger problems to focus on. If you get into this fight between Rwanda and Congo, there is no complaining. If you get involved in this fight and you get hurt, the South Africans will cry victim. Not all South Africans, but the South African governments are crying victim. The South African governments do not govern over Congo, they do not govern over Rwanda. And they're far away from Congo and Rwanda. They're far away from Congo and Rwanda. Congo and Rwanda is in the center of Africa. South Africa is at the south part of Africa. They should focus on their own land. And perhaps giving back land to Lesotho and Eswatini, instead of holding on to land that do not belong to them. Leaving Eswatini a landlocked country without access to the ocean. Leaving Lesotho a landlocked country without access to the ocean. So they should focus on their own problems instead of getting involved in something that doesn't concern them. Let me know what you think. Do you agree that the Congolese governments are neglecting their people, have been neglecting their own citizens for many decades? Do you agree that these people would be better off being ruled by the Rwandans who are quickly advancing their own nation and bettering the life of their citizens? The Rwandan government who want to do the same for Goma, Bukavu, and as much of Congo as possible. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe to see more, and I will see you in our next video.